Oh my god, I hate this. The microphone wasn't working, so I have to talk about all of it again. That's nice. I learned some stuff, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I actually got into a little bit more. I actually got even deeper into the whole thing that was going on. So I can give you a much more deeper perspective on what the fuck was going on between Girfriend Reviews and Last of Us 2. First, let's get... I mean, I was on the subreddit. Let's first get what was happening. I was on the subreddit and then I saw there were some statements and then I wanted to know what the fuck was going on. But at first I wanted to show you a little bit of what actually started the whole thing, the whole controversy between the subreddit and Girfriend Reviews, and why they're probably not too fond of them. And I'm just gonna show you a little scene, which is from the video from Understanding The Last of Us Part 2. Let's play this, just to give a little bit of a look and give you a little bit of feel what this video is and what it's like.
If you reach the credits and wish you could have killed Abby, even after walking a mile in her shoes, then you may have beat the game you were playing with your controller, but you may have lost the game that Naughty Dog was playing with your soul.
And that's okay. So that's basically more or less the video. That's just a small snippet. I recommend you watch it in full to get a full overview of what this video is all about. What to me is a little bit of a problem with this video is that it comes around like you don't like the game because you just didn't understand the story. That's the vibe that I'm getting from it. And there's probably other ways to interpret it. Maybe you like it, I don't really care. Yeah, but that's kind of the whole gist, and that's why probably a lot of people were upset about it, because they probably felt the same way, because I don't think you really need a video to tell you what the fuck is going on in Last of Us Part 2, because it's pretty obvious, and that's one of the issues that I have with the game itself. Even though I haven't played it, I have only watched a Let's Play of PewDiePie. And maybe I'll get into it later. But first, let's get into what was going on in the subreddit and what actually started the whole thing. And it all started with a post from the real Roger Ebert about Girfriend Reviews and Last of Us Part 2, where he made some bold claims, said, I don't know, they made a bad review of Days Gone, and I don't know, they were trying to defend Last of Us Part 2, I don't know. It seems a bold statement from them, because I don't really think Girfriend Reviews care so much about that Last of Us Part 2, to be honest, because they also made a review here, which is I guess mostly positive, but there are also some negatives, and I think it's a more balanced review. Maybe a little more on the good side, I don't know. I haven't really watched it for a while. I watched it once and I think it was a good video. That's what I remember. Anyway, let's get into what was happening. Back into what was happening. So, okay. Yeah, bold claim, which also led to other statements which were not so nice about Girfriend Reviews, which would then later on get into a tweet from them, where they basically dumped a whole subreddit into one big clusterfuck that is obsessed with them and that is making things up. And let's say the wording of this tweet is also not the nicest. But anyway, that's the internet in a nutshell. Yeah, and that's when things start to get spicy here. Wait, where have it? Yeah, now we have the user, the real Roger Ebert, who has now claimed that he's getting death threats after this tweet. So, from community members of Girfriend Reviews, which is, well, it's not their fault if somebody does it, but anyway. So, but it was enough to get them suspicious, Girfriend Reviews, to investigate in the whole thing, and they have found some juicy stuff in there. Because they have found evidence that these were actually messages that the real Roger Ebert sent to themselves. Which is a bold claim, but they would later on show the evidence in a video. And that's when things got a little bit more interesting, because now the moderators step into the... I really don't know the exact timeline. Guess you could figure it out. There must have been... I have seen now the stream of that. And there must have been some messages going around from Girfriend Reviews to the subreddit, I assume, where they kind of... I don't know if they... I'm not so sure about it, but I think they said maybe you could... I'm not sure, but it sounded to me like they were saying that they were trying to communicate with them and try to tell them, hey, this is all bullshit and you probably should take that down. And at that time, they had no reason to believe that these claims were false, because they themselves get harassment on a regular basis. So for them it was believable, and I think they were asking for their evidence, and they basically didn't give it to them. I don't know. Something like this happened. It's all in here. And yeah, and the moderators made the mistake not to reacting really nice to them, not to be objective and biased against them, which things were or being biased against their community, I would say. Yeah, and that kind of then led to later to apologizing to them. And okay, yeah, and they would say, yeah, okay, that's cool that you reach out, that's really nice. And they also deleted the stuff, and later on they would put on a filter so that they could not be longer mentioned. But in the meantime, between all of this happened, there was between the exchange between this moderator and Boyfriend Reviews, there was a statement made. This is his first statement, and this is where we get into this little section here. Okay. And this is where the juicy part is. And they made several claims about the subreddit and the mod team, including that the entire subreddit was stockpiling and inciting witch hunts, and that we allow and post content that violates Reddit's content policy and our rules. They also suggested that some members of this sub have defamed and spread lies about them, and they are seeking legal advice. Which might be true. Yeah, this might be true, and this is probably also true, but and this message is, he's basically saying that later on they were saying, yeah, we said things like that, but we obviously didn't mean the whole subreddit, even though we said it was a whole subreddit. I don't know. Yeah. So that's where things get a little bit fuzzy. I mean, you can watch, if you find the stream, you can watch it. I don't know. To me, that's more like a whole misunderstanding on the whole situation. And maybe a little bit, probably also not the best way to say this, to make this such a huge talking point. I think they were both not too fond of each other because they all had their own biases against them. Because some moderators were actually saying bad stuff about Girfriend Reviews, which you can watch in their video, which is this video, a Redditor on TheLastOfUs2, where they go about the whole thing, which I recommend you watch. And okay, I wanted to go to the stream. Can I find it here? Yes. Sorry. Should have muted myself. Yeah. Yeah, okay, there was one final attempt to go about on the controversy, but at that point the whole bridge for Girfriend Reviews were already burned because they wouldn't trust because all of the stuff that was happening. I mean, they say they were getting not so nice messages from the mod team and stuff, so it's kind of understandable. And yeah, we talked about the whole evidence thing, and yeah, I don't know about that. Let's have a look into the stream.
Not really. I don't think we should talk about it anymore on stream.
Okay.
Because we're watching our streams and taking all of our words and twisting them.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they're continuing to make us out to be the bad guys.
Yeah, that's basically the whole situation. They think they're the bad guys, and I guess The Last of Us 2 is trying to defend themselves. That's probably where the whole controversy comes from.
I just don't understand it. Like, are they just like really dumb or like what? Or is this like, why are they doing this? This is how I feel. I just got a huge message from the mod team, and it's just completely blaming us.
Oh.
Like, blaming us for the post being there, and just saying like that they, Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if you read something like this, you could come to the conclusion. Anyway, I mean, that's not the most diplomatic words. I mean, I guess they were trying to be a little bit funny. I don't think it's that bad. But it's also not the nicest thing to say.
Yeah. Saying that if we had reached out to them, or whatever, with our evidence against him, that they would have removed the post and stuff, and it's...
To be fair, they probably would have. But they were just not trusting them enough to do it. So that's why they probably didn't do it in the first place. I mean, there was a whole thing where which they later took on about that they were getting messages from them, some nice stuff. We get into that in a second. But it probably would have been a good idea to send them their evidence. Or just say, okay, no, we won't do it because we want to show it in our video. Fair enough. That would also, I mean, the whole thing is that they at this point hadn't really anything to believe that these claims were probably true. I mean, you can claim to have evidence, sure. And if they really wanted to, they could have investigated themselves somewhat, I guess. But they probably didn't do it, and were privately saying that, hey, if you get evidence, then you would have a look into it. Anyway.
It's like
I don't really think that's our responsibility.
No, there's no policy that says we are required to hand over our evidence to the total strangers who moderate an online community that hates our guts.
Already being mean about us. Why would we?
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, what do you have to get to lose? I mean, I guess there's some. You never know, I would say. Okay. So yeah, basically that's why they didn't send the evidence. They shouldn't trust them. But it probably would have helped to resolve the whole situation in a way. I know it's not, you don't have to provide the evidence that you are innocent. I mean, they didn't have to prove anything because they didn't do anything actually. They were just not too happy with that somebody was claiming that their community was basically people that would harass people, which they didn't believe, and I agree with them. They're probably not.
Comfortable doing that.
Like when this post was allowed to remain on their front page for days.
Why would we make any other assumption other than if we came to you for help that you would
not help us
us
at all?
Yeah.
Exactly. There's no reason why we would ever go to you. And I have like comment histories to prove that like these moderators do not like us. And it's like they were moderating that post but didn't moderate the post itself. It's like,
I mean, yeah, I mean, these were messages that were claimed to be from someone in the internet to someone else in the internet, which contained death threats. That's not so fucking unusual, I would say. I mean, yeah, these things happen. So it's not totally unbelievable. Oh, I don't know. I mean, the problem was that the whole thing blew up after that. There reason. There's actually no reason to believe that the whole messages were fake. Probably. Because the moderators themselves get these messages, so they were assuming, okay, yeah, can happen.
why would we reach out to you and say, here's our evidence that this is fake, when you allowed a post that clearly breaks the rules and possibly like the law, like, and the comment sections that's happening too. Why would we trust the people who allowed that post to happen?
Right.
Victim blaming. And I just can't believe that they're sending me a message like that. It's just like, if I was moderating an online community and someone pulled that stunt and attacked a YouTuber with a full thing and then emailed them and all that shit, I guess they didn't know about that at the time. But if I saw that post, I'd be like, holy shit, I gotta remove this post right now and report it to Reddit.
Yeah.
But they did.
I don't know why you would want to do that. To be fair. I really don't understand what they're talking about. I'm assuming they're talking about these things, and there were a whole lot of more messages like this that were faked. Yeah, but I really wouldn't know what you would take them down. I don't know. I mean, what you probably should have been doing to report those people. I guess what you could have done is, yeah, that the mods message him and say, okay, yeah, please report these people, or please send us their names so that we can take actions against it. This message was suspicious. Yes. Please click yes. But anyway.
Didn't, you know? And then if I found out that it was all fake, I would never send them that message.
No.
I would do everything I can to calm down the hate mob and clear their name and say, you guys, this cannot happen on this subreddit ever again. That was horrible.
Yeah.
Like, even if the death threats were genuine, like, that's a serious thing. You can't just go accusing people with random screenshots. And it's just so blatantly, like, against the rules and everything. So for them now, after all of this, after we tried to be diplomatic and everything, to just message me and just victim blame me and just say that, like, this is our fault somehow, that we didn't talk to them sooner. You know, it just ruins my day, man. It's like this is going on so long. And all I want them to do is say, we're sorry that this happened. And tell their sub that Girfriend Reviews did not do the things they were accused of.
Well, the
You know?
mistake is
Yeah. They really didn't do anything. I mean, as I said it, yeah. They really didn't do anything. I wouldn't also say that they are not responsible for what other people do. So that's probably where I would say that's the difference. But anyway. I mean, I guess because they know that those messages were fake, that they didn't say anything about this. Probably otherwise, if they would have known, they probably, maybe they would have said, okay, please stop this. Or we condone these messages, we don't support stuff like that. They probably would have made a statement like this. I assume. Let's hear further.
expecting them ever to do that because they won't, and we knew that they wouldn't
I mean, yeah, but
because of the way that they were talking about us initially.
yeah, so the whole thing is just nuts, dude. And I don't understand. Like, I've literally, like, I felt bad for them, and I literally went into their subreddit to, like, make it clear, like, this is really serious. And I was trying to, like, let them know, like, you shouldn't continue what he started. You should stop doing that. And they
I guess that's what this first statement is about. Is this first statement? Yeah, this must be the first statement, I guess. Yeah, this is the first statement. Was, I guess it's going about this matches now. Okay.
they didn't want to hear me, and they, like, just shut me down really hard and insulted me really bad, and were bringing up The Last of Us 2. And like they were all still so mad at me about our Last of Us 2 review, as if we deserved what was going on and shit. And so it's like, this guy did this to us. It's really bad that someone did it to us, but what's even worse is that, like, the sub is, like, continuing to carry his torch and, like, continue the campaign. And so yeah, their post yesterday, after we tried to be diplomatic, and they reached out and they said really nice things to us, and I was so happy yesterday. You guys remember? They made a post that was just complete.
Okay, yeah. Now we're at this point here where kind of the whole messaging was going on, and
completely skeptical and eye rolling of us, and completely was like putting quotes of things that we said that weren't like what we said.
Yeah.
And if you guys remember yesterday's stream or whatever, it was just like, or whenever it was, we were like, or our first stream, where I was like, we know that all 43,000 people didn't do this, and we don't want to take anyone's subreddit away.
So when I said the entire subreddit was inciting witch hunts and dogpiling, I misspoke. And I
mean,
take
yeah.
well because of what I meant.
Like,
I meant
obviously,
it as,
she didn't mean all 43,000
I
people,
meant
but
it as
that's
a
how they're.
Well, if you say the entire subreddit, you're basically doing that, but okay. Yeah. I guess, yeah, these mistakes can happen. Especially when you're in a situation like that. I can fully understand that something was like this was happening. And probably shouldn't make such a big deal about it in a subreddit. Thinking about their situation. So... But I guess at that time they didn't really have any evidence of what was happening. And they also say that they don't support harassment and degrading. And that they would remove everything of that kind. Anyway. Okay.
Twisting our words
well,
and
listen,
making
I meant it as a turn of phrase for the active members. All the active members
Yes.
in that post were doing
the
this
people
thing.
actively engaging in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
All of those members, there were no members to be seen anywhere on that sub that were questioning that man's claims or giving us the benefit of the doubt. And then even when we said, hey, we caught this guy, and his thing was clearly deleted and all that, like, they still, like, didn't question him at all and never gave us the benefit of the doubt. And so, from what we saw regarding the topic of girlfriend reviews, the people engaging in that were dogpiling and blaming us.
Right.
We know it wasn't all 43,000 people, but that's like what they said in their sticky post and stuff. And they're just like, they're continuing to make us out to be the bad guys to this subreddit that hates our guts and that thinks we're responsible for all of this. And it's like, I just can't believe, like, do you want something bad to happen to us, or are you just really, really stupid?
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. It's mind-blowingly dumb that they would, after all of this, that they would continue to basically tell their subreddit in a sticky post at the top that, like, they're in the right and that we we are these evil villains. This is how it comes across completely. So it's just like, what the hell?
And again, please don't go there.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Don't go there on our behalf.
Please.
Yeah. And so, yeah, no, I'm not doing good because they sent me a long big message. Because the moderator that was being so nice to me, I messaged him and I was like, hey, like, after our conversation and all the things you said, I thought that we were like trying to be diplomatic, and I thought that you guys understood the severity of the situation and that you were going to clear things up for us and help us. But your post didn't do that. It continued to make us out to be a villain and stuff. And then I just got a message from like the actual subreddit messaged me, and it was like this big long thing.
Oh my god.
Just completely like blaming us.
Can I read it?
If you want, it's long.
That's fine. I'll just
Yeah,
skim
and
it.
so I
I'm muted. Okay, where was I? Probably somewhere in here. Oh my god. I hate muting myself. Anyway. How far should I go back? Anyway. Okay, since I don't know when I muted myself, I'm just gonna summarize all of it together. Try to. Okay. So basically, we have the statement where you can see, okay, if you read it, yeah, okay, you could see why Girfriend Reviews would see that they are blaming them, and especially with that section over here. And as we've heard in here, they didn't mean the entire subreddit, so they probably should have also mentioned it in here. So that's when we get into this message here, which are red. You couldn't hear it. Hello Matt, the purpose was to put our own account of what was happening down in Reddit. We didn't want to antagonize our viewers, and we do want to de-escalate the controversy. But at the same time, we could not let the statement of both you made in the stream stand. We don't want to turn this message into a collection of quotes, but one of the examples we already mentioned was that Shelby claimed that the entire subreddit was backfiring and inciting witch hunts. It is categorically false, and while she may have not meant those words, and while it is true that later in the stream that, that's 4 minutes later, it's okay. It's okay. There are probably not too many people in their community that would go, "Oh yeah, let's go back to them and send them bad messages." I don't know. Maybe they are. But they later said 4 minutes later that, okay, yeah, it's not everyone. And not everyone is bad in there. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, and regarding the whole situation, I can see why she would say these words. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, and then they go on. Okay, there are filters and stuff. And now they're telling them, okay, what more? Why they didn't go to them first. And we already heard, because there were bad comments about them, and that they were getting messages, and so not so nice messages. So that's why they didn't do it. Okay, fair enough. So basically they didn't trust them. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically the end of that. Then we get a final answer that they do not cooperate, and that's basically the end of it, and that they will talk to Reddit about it. Which probably doesn't do anything.
I'm just like, I just don't get it.
Well, again, remember that they haven't seen our evidence. We haven't talked about our evidence. We've just said what happened. These people already hate us
and it's
and
like
have their opinions of us. So
like,
I understand why they're skeptical, because they think that we are different than we actually are. I don't blame them, I guess, for that. But
no, you would have to be. It's like you'd have to be a complete moron to think that that post and the user getting deleted, and then us going on Twitter and saying that, you'd have to be a complete moron to think that we made all of this up and that we're lying. You know, like, why would we risk our everything?
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
On some weird war and something we made up against some subreddit.
Especially when they were announcing a video about it, so I mean, the moderators could have just said, okay, let's wait for the video.
What? But they still, the moderators went and they repeated over and over that we're lying after this happened and stuff. So it's just like, it's just wild, man. And it would be so much less bad if they didn't let things get out of control so much. And then like the posts that people would take of every tweet we made about this.
Okay, let's defend this one more time. They didn't really have any reason to believe. I mean, at this point, they probably had some reason to believe something was going on, but since they didn't have any evidence of that, couldn't review it for themselves. They could have looked for themselves for evidence. I mean, yeah, they literally could have just done that. Anyway. Yeah.
Or like, so bad. Everyone was so mad at us and blaming us still, and the moderators too. And it's like, all we did was give an update on something horrible that's going on. That we didn't like insult you or anything. I don't know, man. All we wanted to do was clear our name of this post, and the subreddit took it really personally. It's like, why are you taking it personally that we want to clear our name of what one guy did, but you guys are all like freaking out and acting like we're starting a war against you? It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, it seems like you guys are starting a war against us, and it's really scary. So yeah, we shouldn't talk about it too much, but you know, that's what happened when I went to the bathroom. I had a stomachache, and then I saw that big long message. And I just can't believe it's happening, and I don't know what to do, because like,
I mean, it's good. Honestly, it's the more that they say, the more incriminating they are. So I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, but
I don't know what they
it's just like,
expect
what's
to
gonna
happen.
happen?
What's gonna
it's like-
happen? I don't know. It's like they want their sub shut down or something. Because if they had just been chill about this from the get-go
and helped us, and said, "Holy shit, that post!" Yeah,
and
but no, they said they're lying through their fucking teeth. That's what they
as
said.
responsible moderators, when an active member on your subreddit posts saying, "I got death threats for this post I made in this subreddit," you should go thread
You
locked.
should remove.
You go
remove it entirely and reach out to them and say,
thread locked.
"Hey,
Who was this? Let's report
if you're
them."
accusing people
whatever.
of death threats,
It should have.
Yeah, that would have been one way to deal with it. I don't know if it really would help to delete. I mean, it probably would have helped because you could just type in what was here and look for it by Google. Then you could easily find the user. Yeah. But probably they should have reached out to the one who was getting the death threats. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. They really didn't talk about it.
Stopped
we need to
there.
investigate it.
It should have stopped there, but it didn't. It was perpetuated
No.
by the active members of the subreddit in that
The
thread.
Yeah, probably. I mean, in the video, you can see that the moderators were kind of like chiming in on it. That there were at least some moderators that didn't like them.
Moderators allowed
and the
it.
moderator team.
They allowed it, and then when he deleted it, and we cleared we said, "Hey, we caught this guy." They continued the smear campaign against us. It got worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Worse.
It's good from a legal perspective because the more that they've talked, the more they've dug themselves into a hole.
It's
and
like
we will be speaking to a lawyer this week.
On Tuesday.
And I don't know what they think is going to happen.
I don't know what they
the
think
more
is
that
going
they
on.
talk,
It's
I
like-
don't know what they think.
It's like, dude, this guy did this to us. He started a smear campaign. He might have had more. He might have been planning more if we didn't catch him. He was like talking about reaching out to the authorities and stuff. I know you guys didn't know that.
I mean, if you watch the video, you can see that he was going to the Polish authorities with that, and probably nothing would have happened. To be fair, to be honest. I mean, if you get death threats on the internet, probably nothing's going to happen. In most cases. Unless people are that stupid and leave their names everywhere with them. And most people don't.
At the time, but you know, why would we share that information with?
Especially on Reddit, where you don't need anything. You just need a name to register yourself, and that's it. You just make a name and then you log in. That's it.
Yeah.
And then when we said on Twitter, like, a user of your subreddit did this, you guys continued what he started, and it got worse.
Yeah.
So we don't know what to tell you guys. And then now, after all of this, even after we...
Well, you could have showed them your evidence. That's what he could have done. But to be fair, you wouldn't have known what they would have done with that evidence. So, okay. But I think by the time the user was already deleted, probably not too much. So they could have said, okay, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's probably some case you can make.
We tried to be diplomatic, and we had some nice words with each other, you know, on Reddit, and then on stream, I said some really nice things about you guys, even though you've been really mean to us for a long time.
Right.
And
Well,
even though you've said the things you said, you told me that you understood better now, and that you were going to clear our name and make it better. Then that night, we were done streaming, and I went to the room, and I saw your post, and it was like a slap in the face, man.
Yeah.
It was just like,
so
what?
yeah, like the intention was never to like get the subreddit removed. We don't want that subreddit removed. There needs to be a place where people can go. But the more that we need Reddit to look into this situation, the more likely it is that they're going to shut it down.
It's like you're victim blaming us for like the thing that you're actively doing.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if there's any more useful information in here, but I kind of get the feeling that they're now running in circles. Anyway, so let's get on with it, shall we? I mean, okay, now we go a little bit further into the story. We have now the video. Do we want to look into it? I'm just gonna skip through it because there were some points. I mean, I really recommend you watch this. Fair enough. Come on, Mr. America. What do we have here? She also put people who did not enjoy the game and the homophobes attacking Naughty Dog team in the same group. It's pretty dishonest. Okay, they probably didn't do that. Because I didn't hear it. Unless it was on a stream. But I don't think they did it. Really. Yeah, I can understand this. Yeah, okay. Okay, what's this all about?
It seems like they took things from our Understanding The Last of Us video, like this. Whether or not it's the story we wanted, this was a bold and monumental undertaking that only a fool would call lazy writing. And took that to mean if you don't like the story, you're stupid.
Some people think that just the title of the
Yeah, they go on and defend the whole thing with Understanding Last of Us 2. Okay. Yeah.
The video alone is implying that if you don't like The Last of Us, it's because you're too stupid to understand it.
Even though only a fool is something that you might hear a used car salesman say.
Only a fool would miss the bargain at the mattress bargain.
Exactly.
If we knew that that line would make people feel so offended, we obviously would have never used that.
They also thought that this... If you reach the credits and wish you could have killed Abby, even after walking a mile in her shoes, then you may have beat the game you were playing with your controller, but you may have lost the game that Naughty Dog was playing with your soul. Meant that we thought anyone who didn't like Abby had no soul.
We're just being poetic. Like we obviously aren't casting out divine judgment based on your feelings towards
Who are we?
A fictional lady.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, they're basically defending what they were saying in that video. And probably they give the reason why they chose these words. Yeah. Still don't know, really understand why they made that video. Probably because of the bad user scores. That's maybe where they were coming from. I don't know. Maybe they had the feeling that a lot of people just didn't get what this whole thing was about. Wanted to inform people about it. I would say a lot of people did get what it was about and understand it and just didn't like it. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, they're talking about Scale Up was a good review, and though it was negative. Now we have some of the not so nice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think she actually ever mentioned the subreddit for some reason. Okay. Something here? No. Okay, that was a tweet. We already seen that. Yeah, that was a message. Okay. Something else. Okay. Yeah, that was a whole story now, which I already showed you. We don't have to get into this. And then we have some more of the test thread that the guy was getting. Okay. I would recommend you watch this whole thing. They kind of explain how they actually got into it. But I was actually looking for something else because... Okay, yeah, then I got emails. Okay. Here we have some interesting stuff from the moderators. Some comments. Girfriend Reviews already lying on the user's questions actually did not delete all the evidence. This post and the screenshots are still up for all to see. He did only delete it probably because he was getting tired of words from Girfriend Reviews' wholesome fanbase. Which could be a true statement. We don't. Because they didn't have the evidence, so there was... I mean, they could have looked into it. They probably should have just looked into it. To be fair. If they could figure it out, they could have figured it out. Also, they had a bit more information. Because I had the emails and they didn't. Okay. Okay, yeah, they basically are not too friendly about it. I really want some proof. Making views, yeah. Okay, yeah, that. But there was something they were talking about the subreddit. Okay.
To defend ourselves and defend our brand and defend our community while also taking this opportunity can be.
We also have some happy stuff to tell
Last of Us 2 sent death threats to him
and report us.
claims with even involved some sort of
This was very stressful for us. This was an all mention I'm talking to you about.
be as brief as possible.
I was looking for something where they were talking. There was a scene where they showed yeah, this may be it. Maybe it's here.
I thought it was really well written, and it spoke to me because I actually agreed with him on a lot of the things he said.
For the past year, on and off, someone might post something in that subreddit about us, and the comments, they call me a bitch, they call me a dumb mouthpiece for my boyfriend.
So, if you think this all sounds childish and petty and not worth discussing, we agree.
You're right.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Maybe was. No. It was talking about how the subreddit was obsessed with them. Just don't know where it is. Maybe I find it, maybe I don't. I don't know. Okay, now that's... I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, yeah, there's... I don't find it now. There's a scene where they kind of show all of the posts that were made about them, and it was like, I don't know, it wasn't too much, There were pretty old stuff and some newer stuff, of course, but it wasn't too much. I would say, not to call them obsessed. It was not like he had a whole lot of yeah, just watch the video and for it. I can find it. I still try to find it. I don't know. Wait, where can I find it? Look like it. Maybe it's at the end. See it when I see it. Okay, yeah, I can find it. Anyway. Yeah. They basically were claiming that there are many posts from them, and it wasn't that much from what I can see in the video. There could have been more. I don't know. I don't really think the subreddit was. I mean, I've been on the subreddit and I didn't really see a lot of posts in them. I don't see what regularly watching it. But anyway, the next stage, we're getting into the Kotaku article, where they basically actually tell the whole story again, and of course we have a little bit of yeah, a bit of interesting views from Kotaku on the subreddit. While it otherwise may imply otherwise, as the subreddit is dedicated to hating its namesake. But the members of this community already stopped there. It's not enough to dislike The Last of Us. They also criticize it from an anti-SJW perspective, which I would disagree with. There were also criticism of the game because of the writing. Yeah, just that simple. Most of the time. And I guess, yeah, okay, basically people claiming that the whole game was woke. Is the whole game woke? No. Not that much that it would, that I would say it is. Like, it's a whole part of it. I mean, it's in there. There's obviously this trans character, Ellie, who is Stina. Well, that's about it. It's not like they're really going too much into detail with it. Anyway, I don't know what they are talking about here. Maybe it's the second statement. Don't know. No, it's not the statement. I really don't know. Let's read it. Maybe you guys can figure it out for me. After our video, we feel they trip it down by once again, making sticky posts and statements that tried somehow cast us as villains. Girfriend Reviews said, they continue to twist our words, it's just a lie, they remember. Maybe it was from the stream? They continued to twist our words, or just flat out lied to their members in a pretty poor effort that made the subreddit scrubbed and clean, and then opened it back up and said, see for yourself, some of those mods deleted their own comments. One of them deleted their entire account, and the creator of the sub just abandoned it all together. That means you guessed it. We've been receiving more hate and harassment, and they added, but this time we were sleeping easy because the truth is out there. We just want the mods to say again, and sorry, it would also be nice if they stopped equating what they are going on through as a result they did said in public. Okay, yeah. Anyway. Don't know what that was all about. It's obviously not this statement because it mentions the Kotaku article. Let's read about it a little bit. Okay, after the blah, blah, blah. We never twisted Matt's or Shelby's words. We quoted them, their accusations. But you left out some stuff from it. Okay. I just want to mention it, yeah? All those accusations were made in public fashion via Twitter or Twitch and stream, so completely legitimate. That's what's supposed to respond to them. This is Kotaku. Okay, yeah, they're talking about scrubbing clean of the things, and this category thoughts and the decision to make the sub-private was made because 2 mods were online at the time and were all by the high online count of the Message Brigade started too. They had reached up to 10,000 people online, but the rest of the team then quickly decided to turn the sub to restricted instead, so that all our content can remain accessible and visible to the public. In short time, the sub was private and did not scrub clean in any way. Girfriend Reviews wording could leave with the readers with the impression that we went through the entire subreddit and removed entire posts we considered controversial. That did not happen, and it wouldn't have been necessary anyway, as we explain in the next segment about this sub's history. Just down here. Ed and Shelby also admit why those mods left the team and deleted their accounts. Those mods thought that they had no other choice because their massive harassment effectively rendered their accounts useless, and they were generally afraid of getting doxxed and losing their privacy. They did not leave because they were somehow ashamed of their post history or their sub-content. Which is a reasonable decision, I would say. Reddit has only responded to a serious order while his outright disavow of his name's Girfriend. I don't know. I probably did at some point, but I don't know. That is because we were not just initially covered, we are still covered and sticking to the measures of promise and are mod made to met. We are around to reject the claim that this separated its hateful environment, and we are a fan separate of TheLastOfUs2, passionately. So you could just piss me. That is not just hateful. Okay, so yeah, basically, I guess that's the whole story so far. Okay. Yeah. I guess now I can talk about The Last of Us Part 2. And I didn't buy it. I didn't play it. I only watched PewDiePie play it. So you can take that as you will. If I actually wanted to review the game, I would probably play it and make a review of it. But since I don't want to review it and just want to give my opinion about it, I just send it out to the ether for you to hear. Okay, yeah. What are my problems with The Last of Us Part 2? Maybe not. Let's play a little bit of the video. Maybe we find some notes. One of the problems is the premise of the whole story is you kind of have to go from the perspective that Ellie, that there was the only option, that Ellie was the key to a cure or a vaccine or whatever. Basically to stop spreading everything. That's basically that's the only premise that I would say the whole thing works. And that takes away strengths of the original game because it was ambiguous. And that was what really made the game for me. Because, and if you see the ending of the story, you could say there was enough reason to believe that this doctor in this hospital is maybe not the best choice to find a cure. I mean, there was a chance that he could make it, but also a chance that Ellie would just die without reason. Also, we can assume that Ellie would have made the choice if they would have let him make the choice, which is a problem of the first game, because she was never given the choice and basically left Joel with no hands but to take matters in his own hands. So that's why he chose to save her. And because of his history, there was no other choice. He might have acted, maybe there's a chance, a smaller chance, a slim chance that he would have acted differently if he couldn't, if Ellie was making the decision for herself, and that she actually and that Joe had a chance to say goodbye because he couldn't do that with Sarah. So that's a problem with that story. And the other problems is that it's basically, I would call it the convenience store of a story, because everything is a little bit too convenient and it's also a little bit too much on the nose. It's a bit too obvious what the game is trying to do. You can really fear that it's trying to manipulate you, like with the whole killing Joel. I mean, the first convenient thing that happens is that Abby just literally runs into Joel and Tommy. And just so many things you could easily fix it. Just make them hunt. Make them set up a trap. I mean, they literally just came there, and Abby goes out and runs into a horde, even though everything was quiet for the last few years. That's why Joe got settled down and he wasn't on edge anymore. I mean, it's a bit too much. And they don't really show it to you. They only tell you that in journals that are lying around that you could have missed. They're not really showing you. Joe is settled down. He's gotten calmer. No, none of this is shown. And they're obviously running patrols around this. They're making patrol about the perimeter of the settlement. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. And the whole thing then, Ellie loses her marriage, when she conveniently loses her map, so that Abby later can find her oh my god, I can't talk. And then she can later find their hideout, which is for some reason marked on a map. Why? Ellie, you know where you have to go, It's probably not a good idea to... Oh yeah, that's understanding. Okay, I actually wanted... Okay, anyway. That's good.
Sponsoring told us to kill ourselves.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. It is a bit too convenient, everything. And another thing about the story, it just takes on forever. You think you're at the end point, then it goes on. Then you got this whole segment of Abby's backstory, where she, I don't know, the days before the days after, I don't even know. Sorry. That's probably the days before Ellie reaches to them, right? I don't know. I guess there's a reason to show them because of the whole Yara story. Basically, where then this whole stuff is happening. And also to give a little bit of insight, the backstory of Abby. I mean, that's more structural problem. We could have made that a little bit integrated into the story when you just play them parallel. Right? That could have helped. But anyway, yeah. It's basically the problems. And that's why people are calling it lazy writing. And yeah, the characters. I don't really have a problem with Ellie being kind of set back because, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what I would think was a good premise for the story. And I don't think it's totally wrong the way that we're going, because I think there's a good argument that this would be a huge part of Last of Us Part 2, how the relationship between Ellie and Joe is going on between them, and we can assume that she, at some point, she will find out about it, what was happening at the hospital, and that this was not going to be a good thing between those two, that this would probably could cause the destruction of their relationship. So yeah, that's definitely a good point. And yeah, so that's probably a good way to start a story. But you kind of need Joe and Ellie for that, right? And they really didn't do that. I mean, they did it in the backsplash, and for me to watch them, those were the best parts, to be fair. And I wish there would have been more of that. And if I had to go on with the story, I would just say there probably is another Firefly settlement where they could still get into the whole thing with the cure, but Ellie would start to go on her own and Joe would go after her to help her. And probably then at some point would die in order to save her. That's probably what would have been happening in my story. This is a situation I would have gone with. But yeah, anyway. And I also would have liked if there was actually other people like Ellie that were immune to the disease. To the fungus. It's a fungus, right? I would just love to see that. It sure was actually accidentally. And anyway, I think that was long enough. And yeah, whatever you think about the whole situation. This is a Twitch live stream now, but I think I just gonna export that to YouTube, then you can write your comments on it. If you watch it, if you actually do watch the whole video, it's way too long. I'm sorry for that. If you watched it, I really appreciate it. And if you didn't, I can't really blame you. Okay. See you next time.